Good evening, everyone. I do believe we are live. I'm super excited about tonight. I'm going to be talking about network marketing. And honestly, this applies to everyone in business, but I wanted to do a special training for all the network marketers in the community because this is actually how I got my start. So before Derek and I started a business, this is a story I don't often tell. When we first got married, I was a real estate agent and I was part of a network marketing company. And Derek was a landscape designer. And then it was in 2009 that we started our business. So 2 years after we were married, we started our business. So network marketing was sort of my gateway drug to entrepreneurship. And what I find is that most people do not know how to build a network marketing downline or a team because they are following exactly what the company says. And that might be like, what? This is why I thought network marketing was so valuable. I will say this, if you don't know sales, if somebody has no sales experience, you can get a lot of good sales training in network marketing. But if you say and do everything that they tell you to do, it will be nearly impossible to make money in network marketing. So that's a bold statement. So I'm going to unpack it, right? Before I get hate mail and all the comments and what do you mean by that? Da, da, da. So first of all, tell me hi, tell me how you're doing. Let me open up my phone so I can maybe see your comments in real time, answer questions. So how many of you are in network marketing? How long have you been in? I would love to know, a little bit about that. So here's the interesting thing. Okay, so I look at network marketing a lot like public school. So in public school, any of you go to public school? Yeah, I went to public school. Public schools have to aim their curriculum at the average student and maybe even the below average student. I yesterday did a lesson with my boys, our own little mastermind lesson on influence. How do you how do you become a person who has influence in other people's lives? Okay. Now I can guarantee you down there at the school, they're not doing any lessons on that. They're teaching the average and maybe the below average. Network marketing companies do the same. What do I mean? Network marketing companies have to go, what are we going to talk about at these conferences, at these Wednesday night calls, right? I remember all the calls that I used to get on. Oh my God, I was on a call every single day. What can we teach the average or below average? I call this ding dong marketing. Okay. What's the most basic, stupid, simple thing that the majority of our distributors can parrot and say to someone else, whether it's in person or online? What would that be? Okay. Hi, Melissa. Hi, T. Hi, Bryony. Welcome everyone who's joining live. So they're not, High Blast, they're not going to give you anything that's above average. They're not going to give you anything that's cutting edge, nothing that's like, this is it, right? Because the truth of the matter is if network marketing companies told you and did a training on what really works, it would be over most people's heads. They're not going to do it. So they give them basic tasks. It's like, in the military, some people are going to go to the top schools. They're going to be high ranking, but most people in the military they got a pretty shitty position. Yeah. Most people in network marketing don't make money. Most people in network marketing make less than $500 a month. So my story was this. I was raised by entrepreneurs. My dad ran a lumberyard. His dad started a lumberyard, a lumber business. My mom had a health food store. So I was raised by entrepreneurs. Everyone in my family has a business. I could take you down Main Street and it's like, that's theirs, that's ours, that's his, right? So when I joined network marketing, I did what I do in all situations. I scan the room for who's the smartest, who's the most successful. Those are the only people I care about. Those are the only people I'm going to go stand next to, the only people I'm going to have breakfast, lunch, and dinner with, the only people I'm going to model. I didn't listen to what the company said. So there were two women who really stood out. They were smart, they were savvy, they were good business women. and they had connections. And so I observed them and I listened to them. And this is what I'm going to tell you. Both of them had huge downlines. So one lady, I can't remember how long it took her, maybe 18 months, right? 2 years, somewhere around that. And she hit $1 million in her network marketing. She had quite the downline, very strong leaders in her team. Now, those two behaved entirely different than everybody else. Everybody else that was on a call, everybody else I met in Provo, I went and did all the things. I met people face to face, so I could visually see who's got it and who doesn't. And these two women, what they did differently is they did not say and do what the company said to say and do. They took what the company said, they translated it into their own words, into their own personality, through their own lens of experience. They distilled it down, and then they used that. The other thing that they didn't do, they did not try to sell anyone on a company, a product, a patent, a scientist's, discovery. They didn't sell people on any of that. So what on earth did they sell people on? They sold people on another stream of revenue. It was very much how business people think. It's like, if you do this and you invest that, you can get this much back. It was just real simple numbers. The other thing that these two women did, well, I should say that they didn't do, that everyone in network marketing does, is they did not do hype and excitement. There is an energy and there is a culture of network marketing. Anyone else notice this? Yeah, exactly. Yes, Melissa. So there's a culture of a lot of excitement. Like, I'm so excited to share something with you, right? And as soon as someone says that, like, you already know they're in network marketing because they're super excited. And I did a roundtable, or not a hot seat, maybe a couple months ago, and a lady was on who was in network marketing, and I told her, stop being so excited. Stop jumping on people's laps, stop licking their faces, and actually start withdraw, like hold what you got and make them beg for it. And she was like, oh, wait, what? Because that's not what network marketers do. Well, these two women, they had no hype and they had no excitement. They were very grounded. They were very matter of fact when they spoke. And the thing that I want to focus on tonight, they did not sell products or recruit anyone who wasn't a leader. Okay. So there was a trend, there was this theme, right? You can watch for patterns. So what I noticed is that they only talked to people and they only signed up people, they only recruited people who were business owners, already successful business owners, who had connections, relationships, influence, and a track record of success. They did not go call their Aunt Bertha, who had, bunions and warts, and say, hey, I've got a product for you. They only talked to their already successful friends. So, we'll talk about what do you do if you don't have a lot of those people in your life. But this is very telling, okay? Because what most people do is they're not as picky. They're not as discerning. It's like, anyone with 2 ears and a wallet, I'll sell them something. But the truth of the matter is there's two components in network marketing teams that are make or break. If somebody has I actually know someone who has a huge network marketing team. I think she has about 800 people signed up beneath her. But they're just people that she thought that the product would be great for. And it's like she's got 800 people on her back. They're not leaders. They're not already successful. They don't follow directions. They're not self-starters. They're not disciplined. They don't listen. They don't do anything. They whine, they complain, and they need her to do everything. Okay. That will make it feel like it's not worth it. On the other end of the spectrum, people who have teams of leaders, already successful business people, it's not only that those people know great people, because they always do. And these people that I talked about, the 800, they often don't have relationships. They often don't have networks, and they often don't have influence. The thing that is first and foremost important with leaders and business owners and the already successful is they do not have delusions about what to expect. They do not have expectations like the 800 people. Okay, so for example, this friend of mine, when she introduced the product to somebody, and then she was like, oh, by the way, if you want to make extra money, tell a few friends about it. They didn't have a business. They were like tier D employee status. They don't really give a rip. They don't really do their best. They don't really understand discipline. They don't really understand what it takes, right? An established business owner understands how business works. Someone who invests in stocks and real estate and all the other things, they understand how investments are. They go up, they go down. Some pan out, some don't. They understand that businesses take time to grow. They understand that there's things that they need to do. A business doesn't just magically grow because they enrolled and paid a little bit of money and got a welcome packet in the mail. This is the difference. Okay, so instead of having to tell little Sally Sue, no, you're not a millionaire yet. You're on day 48 of being in the company. You haven't enrolled anyone, so that's why you didn't get paid. You don't have to have those types of conversations. Does this make sense? So the types of people you enroll and the types of people you communicate with matters. And companies will often say, like, get certain number of people as product buyers and a certain number as business builders. And honestly, they have to say this, because if they said what I just said, most people would be like, well, I run out of people, right? The way they get people started is go tell your friends and family. Most of those people are just going to buy the product. Now, did I have people who bought the product and then they didn't end up building the business? Yes, but they had those qualifications. So then they weren't a pain in the butt. For me, network marketing and the business I have today, they're similar in that you don't want to have pain in the butt clients. You don't want to have pain in the butt members in your team. Like, you will begin to feel it, and you will feel it fast. So what do you do when these are the group of people? Well, here's the thing I talked about is network marketers, probably the two most important attributes that they need is they need to be likable, and they need to connect with people who either have influence or can connect to the people who have influence. And over time, they have to build their own influence. So how do you know if you already have influence? It's like, this is how you know you have influence, is if you call your friend who's a dentist, a chiropractor, a construction company, they own a construction company, they own the office supply store on the corner. If you call them and you say, listen, I found this thing, I put this much in, I get about this much out, this is what's required. Do you want another stream of income that's about this rate, this percentage, yada, yada? And they go, you know what? I wasn't really looking for anything. I wasn't thinking of saying yes, but because it's you, I have to at least look at it. Because I know you, and you're a smart person, and you're a savvy business owner, and I respect you. So yeah, I'll at least look at it because it's you. That's how you know you have influence. That's how you know you're a leader. When you're not a leader and when you don't have influence and you say the same thing, people are like, oh, I gotta go, the kids are screaming. You send them an email, you send them a message, and they ignore you, they delay you. That tells us something, okay? And we all start off at the beginning. We develop this, we cultivate this. So what did I do? Now, you have to understand, when I got married and when I joined the network marketing scene, I was 30 years old. I went to college. I had no degrees, no letters behind my name. I also had no work experience because when I was 20, 21, I moved overseas and I was a volunteer in my 20s in Myanmar, in Albania, and in Kenya. I was a volunteer at orphanages and I worked with street kids. That wasn't experience that anyone understood. Now, that has helped me a lot in my business, but it didn't translate to anything at that time. So I had been out of the United States for a very long time. I had moved to Tucson just a year before, or a few months before I met Derek. I didn't know anyone in Tucson. Nobody really looked at me as someone who was business savvy, never had any business. I didn't have a dime to my name. I was broke as a joke. I didn't have a great resume. Okay. Did not have a great resume. In fact, most people thought I was crazy for not going to college because I was a straight A student. I mean, of course, why didn't she go to college? Why didn't she marry the neighbor? Why on earth did she move overseas, go to countries nobody wants to go to? What is she thinking? Most people actually thought I was a little, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, little, yeah, not to mention a little behind, right? I got married at 30. Where I come from, that's like a whole decade late. I hadn't had a corporate job, hadn't climbed any ladders. I didn't have anything going for me on paper. So how did I start into network marketing and build a team so fast and get really good people? I just watched what those two women did. And I would network, I would attend networking events, I'd scan the room for the most successful, most established, most savvy, smart person in the room, and I'd build a relationship with them. I'd build a relationship with them. I would ask them what they needed. Who do you need a connection to? I did the same thing I do now and that I did when we started our business in 2009. I am not looking for 100, 300, $500 customers. I'm looking for pillars in my business who have a community, a circle, a network around them that I can then tap into. Because if I can build relationships and I can enroll Bob, and Bob has 5, 10, 15 people that he'll enroll that are all solid and stable, then that one relationship that I developed was very, very worth it. Is this making sense? Now, the other thing that I would say is this, is that I really, really practiced communication skills and sales skills. I studied sales every single day. Every single day. I knew I had to master that skill, and I knew I had to master communication. I knew I had to master networking. I had to find a way to build my leadership skills and my influence. And what happened is that all of these things came together. I signed up somebody who was very well connected, and then they signed up more people. And then I would develop relationships with them, and then I'd see who are they connected to. And I did this very, very methodically. Now, I'm going to tell you, you might ask me, well, why aren't you still in network marketing? Why did you do network marketing for 2 years and then go start your business? Here's the reason why. I got so good at sales in those 2 years. And I remember the day, I still remember the day. It was payday, right? It was like the wire transfers or bank deposit or whatever it was, the direct deposit was going out. I jumped up at like 5 a.m. I went and logged in. I saw how much I got paid. And I saw this one line, for whatever reason, it had not jumped out at me until this day. And it said that I was paid 5% commission on what I sold and what my downline, whatever. And when that jumped out at me, I was like, wait a second. Not only am I good at sales, not only have I learned how to network, not only have I learned how to connect with people, I got a lot of confidence in those 2 years. So instead of it being the girl who was in reverse culture shock, recovering from malaria, a newlywed, no experience, all this, all of a sudden I had become a different person. And I said, I can start my own business and I can make way more than 5% commission. And I wanted to do that. I wanted to develop the services. I wanted to figure out what I was going to sell. I wanted to do it any way I wanted to. Now, what I will tell you is there's a hybrid as well. I know a lot of people in network marketing who make a lot of money, and they all have the same traits. They're all leaders who have communities and networks. They all have businesses. They all are very entrepreneurial. They're always looking for opportunities. They always find them. And so what I have noticed is that a lot of people that I met in those early days, what they did is end up doing a hybrid. So they had a stream of income coming through the network marketing company, but they also saw gaps. I remember this one lady, she developed this whole training and sales process, and people who joined her team, they would pay her an additional $500 or $1,000 for her training and for her time. And so that was a side thing for her. There was some people who they loved the product and they also had a lot of knowledge and experience with the product. So for example, there was a lady who the product was health related. Well, she started offering health coaching services to people who bought the products who needed a little bit more support or wanted a personalized thing. So then she was double dipping, right? What I will say is there's so many different personality types. There's some people who don't want to figure out all the moving parts of entrepreneurship. They don't want all the responsibility. They don't want to do all the things. And so in that case, network marketing can be really helpful. There's some people who like the combination, and then there's some people who like entrepreneurship, right? What I would say is this, is that if you're a person who doesn't want to create programs and manage all the things, and you love that there's already systems and processes in network marketing, what I will tell you is this, is that if you want to make, if you want to be with the high earners, because there's it's a real gap in network marketing. There's the haves and the have-nots. There's not a lot of in between. Okay. If you want to be up there with the top earners, what you've got to realize is that saying what the company tells you to say is not it. It's developing the relationships, it's developing leadership, and mastering sales. It's about never using a graphic that they give you. It's about never using a video they give you. It's never about being excited. It's never about that. It's about connecting with key people who have networks and them viewing you as a serious player, as someone who's in it for the long haul. And the thing that has to be present is you have to be likable. Most people in network marketing, they make themselves the most avoided person in the room because they literally can't stop parroting their company. I remember this moment distinctly. I had traveled to Provo. I had went to the conference, and it was just one of those things like, when you're in an elevator, stuck in a moment, and I asked, we're all there for the same reason, right? I asked a simple question like, where are you ladies from? And they couldn't even answer that question without coming back to something like, it was like they were in a cult, like they had a computer chip installed in their brain. It's like, I'm already in, lady. You're not going to recruit me, right? You don't need to say that stuff to me. Like, listen to my question, have a conversation, have half a brain about you. This is what people dislike about network marketers. I spotted it immediately. Most I've been to a million networking events in my life. I've been to a million conferences. The people who are in network marketing don't know when to put it away, to be in the moment, to have a meal, to talk about some other topic, anything else, and not be drilling, not let everything loop back to the product, to the company, and to the opportunity. This is what people can't take. The interesting thing about sales, especially when you're doing it through relationship building, the less you make it about the thing, about the sale, about the end result that you want, the faster you'll get that. It's this backward little thing, right? If you join a networking event, a group, if you join a mastermind, if you're on social media, if you're attending local things, do not bring up your thing every time, or do not make the people in the room feel like they need to sign up. You'll get way further with them if you don't push it on them. If you actually hold it back, like, you're not my person. But here's the thing, I'd love an introduction too, right? The other thing that I would say, just like with all the things I teach, is this, is there's really no better way to say this. Like, nobody cares about our name, nobody cares about our title, nobody cares about our business name, they don't care about the company that you represent, they don't care about your product, they don't care about your service. Nobody cares about anything. They don't care that you just opened your doors, they don't care that you're in launch. Let me tell you what people care about. And if you can lock into what people care about, listen to that and meet that, you're golden. People care about why it makes their life better. That's all they care about. The only time anyone becomes interested in a product, a service, a company, a hoo-ha and ha-ha, is if they know how it's going to make their life better. They don't care about the rest. Don't make them care about the rest. Could you imagine if I'm like, nope, you can't become my client unless you tell me the proper name of this program, and what's my title, and what's my 1 minute, yada, yada. You've got to lock into why they care. Can you give them what they already know they want? And if you can, that's enough. Zip it up after that. The same thing with network marketing, as I say to business owners. You know, we've got this whole running joke of the jargon jar words. Oh my gosh. Network marketing companies, they're full of jargon jar, right? Oh my gosh. So I actually stole a post straight out of internet land world. Okay. I copied and pasted it because I needed to do it exactly. Okay. The post said, introducing the company that's breaking the mold. Life-changing products, breakthrough marketing system, huge compensation plan. Most powerful system in the industry. Get a head start in building your team. Products that sell themselves. Let me just tell you something. Anyone who tells you that that network marketing company has a product that sells themselves, they're lying to you. They're liars, okay? But guess what? Average and below average people buy it. Life-changing results. You can't talk like that. You can't ever put that on the internet. You can never say that to someone's face or in the DMs or on your website or wherever. You can never say that. This is jargon jar. You just lump yourself in with everyone who's in network marketing and everyone that people want to avoid, because it's like, yeah, I know it's so amazing, but none of this speaks to you're experiencing this and you actually want to experience that. You're here, this gets you there. None of that addresses it. Yeah. And let me just say too, if there is a training that speaks to you, if there is a testimonial, if there is a scientist, if there's a developer, if there's a CEO, and they really speak to you, this information is very valuable. What I want you to practice doing is consuming the information and then distilling it down, putting it in your own words, and then doing a reel, and then going live, and then posting about it. Because here's the thing that most people don't realize is if you post the company graphic and you post the scientist video and you post the testimonial, okay, what you're doing by doing all of that is saying, you don't need me. You can actually skip me. You can go straight to the company because I'm actually telling you the company's got it and the scientists has got it and the testimonials have it, but I am not a leader. I'm not a person who can help you. So you really don't need me. If you aren't the glue, if you're not the connector, and if people don't feel a connection to you, if they don't like you and they don't want to spend time with you and they don't want to get on every Wednesday call with you and they don't want to get in the car and drive to Provo with you and they don't want to give you the testimonial and they don't want to chat you up, they don't need you. They can just skip you and go straight to the company and go straight and listen to the scientist and they can go buy it from the website. Do not remove yourself from this process. You need to be the person. Here's the thing I can tell you. Derek and I talk about this all the time. Most people, they're not buying a service or a product. They're buying into an individual. They want to stand closer to a person. That's the only reason they pulled out their credit card. You had this thing, so that became the pathway. It became the route. But honestly, they could take it or leave it, but they wanted you. They wanted me. So don't post anybody else. I tell people, I used to say this when I would audit profiles. I would say, it's great that you quoted Wayne Dyer and Oprah Winfrey and what's his butt, right? But what do you have to say about it? Do you have a perspective? Do you have a story? Because if all you got is Wayne Dyer stories and Wayne Dyer quotes, I'm not paying you. I'll just go to Wayne. I'll just go straight to the source. When people refuse to be the face and out front and they refuse to lead and they refuse to be the source of information and the source of the invitation and the source of all things, people don't need you. Yeah. And all it does is signals I'm not comfortable being that person. So you should go with somebody else. And that's the thing. Leadership rules supreme. Leadership. And leadership holds within it relationships, communication, influence, power, all of the things. It's really all under that heading of leadership. So you've got to become the person that people want to move toward. Don't move toward every person. Otherwise, they will never move toward you. If you lean in, they're leaning back. It's just human nature. Lean back. Don't be the network marketer. Be the individual. I was Monique. And let me tell you, this is what people knew when they joined my team. Monique was going to teach them sales. I was going to teach them how to make money. Nobody joined my team who was just like, well, I just like the products. I don't care about money, right? I never, ever attract people who don't care about money. I'm the person, you join my team, you join my business, you buy my stuff when you want to make money, not when you're allergic to money, not when you're like, no, I don't care. You have to know, what are you known for? Oh, you join T's team if you want this. If you want someone who not only will educate you on the benefits of the products, but my God, she's like the best health expert in the world. You could call her up and be like, this is going on. She'll know what to do. You want T in your life. It's a nice side benefit, right? There has to be something that you're known for. It can't be just like you got signed up under me. Like on the little thing when you log in, it just says, sponsor T. No, not that. I think I've given you plenty to think about. I can smell Derek's green chili chicken in the back in the kitchen. Network marketing is not that different than entrepreneurship and having your own business. And actually, the more you treat it like that, the better off you'll be. Don't do what the company says. That's ding dong marketing. That's for average people and below average people. You're not a below average person. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. That's for people who want to make $200, $300, $500 a month. That's not you. Yeah. It's not worth all the time, energy, and money to make $200, $300, $500 a month. Not ever. If all you want to make is $200, $300, or $500 extra a month, that's not the easiest way to do it. You could probably sell shit in your garage on Marketplace and make that in 1 or 2 days. And you don't have to do any of the things you're doing right now, right? So just like everything, you have to stand out. There is no path to success. There is no path to money. There is no path to influence and leadership that doesn't require you standing out, you showing up, you becoming the person everyone wants to be known or connected to. Everyone wants to be closer to. That's who you have to be. You have to be the person that are like, have you met Susan? No. Oh my God, you got to meet Susan. You just got to meet Susan. She's just, oh my gosh, that's it. That's the ticket. Everything else that you want, trust me, it all shows up once you get this down. Figure out your own words, figure out your own language, figure out your own angles, figure out why you love the product. I'm going to tell you something, network marketers. If you don't become the star of the show, you're not going to be getting any awards on stage. Plain and simple. Stop making the company the star. Stop making the scientist the star, the patent, the product. You're the star. And only you can be the star if this is going to work. All right. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. I'll talk to you soon.